born in Michigan, and all my family, we went to church on Sunday. That's what we did. It was more of out of that's what you were supposed to do. Obviously I read the Bible and knew all the Bible stories and all that stuff, but didn't have that relationship type faith. Growing up, it was, hey, we go to church on Sunday. That's what we do. And I am very thankful to my mom, my dad, all my grandparents, everybody for that. At the time, I just wasn't mature enough, mature enough in my faith to really understand what was going on or have that real connection. When I prayed or when I read, I would skim around and find the verses that, applied to the situation that I was in my favor. And then usually, when I prayed, it was, God help me with this, God help me with that, what can you do for me type faith. And it's not real faith. It was more of a like a Santa Claus God, you hear that term. I was saved at 13 and had that aha moment, but it still was not super mature. It was still, hey, what can you do for me? And then started doing CrossFit, fast forward a couple years. And that first year at the games where I was so close to winning and got second. I'd put so much into who I was as a CrossFit athlete. I wanted to make people proud of me in CrossFit. I'd worked out my not whole life, but starting at about 13 or 14 for football, for baseball. Sports were kind of my deal. Competition was my deal. It kind of defined who I was. And to have that, I say, pulled out from under me because I got second. A lot of people would say you're crazy that, should have been proud of getting second, but no part of me, of anybody who knows me, was I proud of getting second. I just, I'm one of 32 first cousins, 25 of them are boys on my mom's side, and I've got a couple on my dad's side as well, but everything was a competition growing up, and so it's in my nature, I hate to lose. Not necessarily that I like to win, but I hate to lose. It's embarrassing. It could be just me and you down here, nobody else watching. I hate to lose. And so it was hard for me, and I had a couple rough months, and not super awful, but just not in a good place. I was, a little depressed, a little just trying to figure out where I was going in life and what was going on. Luckily, I had a really good friend that was like, hey, if you were to die today, would you go to heaven? And I was like, yeah, of course I would, my immediate reaction was, yeah, I've gone to church pretty much my whole life, but, I read my Bible when it's good for me, and I pray every night, stuff that I need. But that night I was kind of like, man, would I go to heaven? I'm not really sure. It's a weird question. I don't know why this is creeping in my head. And so luckily about that time I started in kind of a small group. I'm gonna start reading in Matthew and kind of, just try to figure some stuff out. So I started reading in Matthew, and I was just reading about all the amazing things that Jesus did and all the things he did for us. And I was like, wow, I have not been living how Jesus called us to live. And, it's been a very selfish, what can you do for me relationship. For me, I'd made that realization that I didn't make that decision, and I want to make that decision to be baptized. And so I was baptized when I was 23, got my tattoo, the Galatians 6:14, and may I never boast in anything except for the cross of the Lord Jesus Christ, which has been crucified to me and I to the world. And so that was me, kind of my, it's not about me anymore. It's about what he's done and the things he's done for me, and how can I show that, and that's kind of where we are now.